To optimize patient care and improve the knowledge of rare diseases, one area that we could help to improve the diagnosis and care of patients with rare diseases is leveraging patient hereditary data, to which ORFA data provides all this kind of information that's freely accessible and usable in a reusable format. For this challenge, we use this data in order to build an automatic way to get insights and retrieve information on rare diseases in order to help doctors and researchers in their job with diagnosing a rare disease. For this project, we have two members. One is the UX UI designer and one is project manager and the data scientist analyst. The ORFA dataset contains information about genes, inheritance type, symptoms, disabilities, average age of onset, average age of death, and prevalence around the world. Starting with the genes category, with our application, it's possible to retrieve bar plots showing the number of rare diseases related to each gene. From the graph, we can conclude that there are 18 rare diseases connected to the gene COL2A1. The next graph is about gene loci. Each gene has a particular location on the DNA called a locus, which stores this gene. With the graph, we can see, for example, that in group XQ28, there are genes responsible for 63 rare diseases. In addition, typing the ID of a rare disease will supply the user with useful information like the related gene and the related locus. Talking about disabilities now, the image displays the most common disabilities in the data set. And by typing in a disorder ID, the user can retrieve all the disabilities associated to a particular disease, sorted by frequency and severity. The next category is HPO. In poor words, the HPO are symptoms annotated with the human phenotype anthology terms. The first image displays the most common symptoms among the diseases, while the rest of the images report the HPO frequency per class. By typing the disease ID, it is possible to find a list of HPOs related to a particular disease sorted by the frequency. Next, we have prevalence. Prevalence is a statistical concept referring to the number of cases of a disease that are present in a particular population at a given time. It is derived by comparing the number of people found to the condition with the total number of people studied, and is usually expressed as a number of cases per 10,000 or 100,000 people, or even more. By inserting the disease ID, it is possible to find out the prevalence class for a rare disease and the average value for each country for comparisons. The last category is the data related to age. The data related to the average age onset when a disease is discovered versus the average age of death and the type of inheritance of the disease. In the display, we can see the most popular inheritance of rare diseases. For example, more than 2/3 of diseases are inherited via autosomal recessive or autosomal dominant. The next graph instead is about the average age onset, most early ages, and average age of death. By typing the ID of the disorder, we can find all this info related to a single disease.
This data can help a healthcare system in making faster diagnoses and helps researchers to retrieve useful information. For example, healthcare workers, when assessing a disease, can start from looking at the genes and the genealogy responsible for the highest number of rare diseases. Or if they think a patient may have a particular rare disease, they can search for the most common HPOs and check if the patient has them or not. Making faster diagnoses have two main advantages. Doctors can spend more time on the treatment rather than diagnosis. Testing the genes beginning from the most problematic can help save money, since each test has its own cost, around $300. Less tests to do, more the money saved. In addition, researchers can use this app to retrieve geographical information with the prevalence app and check the spread of a rare disease around the world, and they use it as a basis to make hypotheses on why certain rare diseases are less likely in some countries and more in others. Thank you for your attention and take care.